Welcome to Cleveland Real Estate Investor. On this podcast, you will hear about every aspect of the real estate investment business. We will talk to rockstar investors about their businesses, how they built them, where they came from, and where they are going. Who am I? I'm Joe Lieber, and I've made millions of dollars in the real estate investment business over the last 20 years. If you're ready to hear the good and bad from a guy who's learned this business from the School of Hard Knocks and get educated by some badass entrepreneurs, then put your helmet on, strap on your chin strap, and let's ride.
Cleveland real estate, best never take the food off your dinner plate. We gonna regulate. Whatever you need, we gonna get it straight. Hey, Cleveland real estate, never take the food off your dinner plate. We gonna regulate. Whatever you need, we gonna get it straight.
Yo, what's going on, guys and gals? Thank you for tuning in. We're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about lead paint. This is some serious stuff. What's going on up here in C-Town? All right, let's get into this. Let's think about it. So I remember I've been an agent for 20 some years. I remember when I first got into the business, you filled out two forms your broker taught you. The residential property disclosure form and the lead-based paint form. Any home built before 1978 required a lead-based paint form that the seller would fill out to tell you if the home had lead-based paint or not. I didn't even really understand it. I swear every deal I ever did for the first 5 years, just like the seller's knowledge of lead-based paint, no. Seller had reports of lead-based paint, no. And seller would sign it and you'd ask him, do you have lead-based paint? Oh, hell, I don't know what I'm talking about. No. That's at least how I felt. That's what went on. And you start thinking and learning, what is lead-based paint? What's going on? And what it is I'm going to explain this to you, the way it was explained to me. So prior to 1978, paint companies put lead in the paint. They put it in the paint because it would make the paint brighter, the colors more vibrant, and more durable. And that's what they did for as long as paint companies were around until then. Then in 1978, some little boy, not 1978, probably 1976, something like that. Some little boy was eating the paint chips in a New York apartment and he died. And they did testing and found out he had excessive amounts of lead in his body. So this big thing started. So they found out lead will kill you if it is ingested, inhaled. It's not good. So that's when it started. Everybody had to have this form signed that was selling a piece of property or renting a piece of residential property in the country. Not much talk about it, though. That was it. You sign this form, and very unusual, you would hear about a lead case, right? Hear about it on the news maybe, or read about it in some law book where so-and-so got his ass in all kinds of trouble. But I don't know, at least for me, it never really resonated. It's that always happens to somebody else, So about 10 years ago, the city of Cleveland started a lead coalition, right? They're going to fix this. And I had been cited over the last 10 years a few different times for having homes that contained too high amounts of lead paint. Well, how did I get cited? You probably ask. How do they find you? Well, what they do in Cleveland is if you live in the city, and when a child goes to the doctor, it's an automatic lead test. They do a lead test no matter what. And if that child comes back with high lead, then it gets automatic trigger to City of Cleveland Building Department. And they have a team there that goes out. They're risk assessors. And they go out and they do samplings. And they test around the windows where all the lead paint is. Around the windows, the door jambs, the soil, the exterior of your home. Then they send you out a report and they say, your home has been cited and needs a lead abatement done. And you can't get out of this. You have to do it. Full disclosure, I want to do it. I don't want anybody getting sick. Obviously. So you have to do it. So my experience has been over the last 10 years, I've been stopped a few times, and I've had, risk assessors do the property. And it cost me a small fortune to do a lead abatement. You have to bring in a lead abatement contractor, and then they have to encapsulate and, close off areas and replace windows. And then they bring behind them, and I'm going to mess this up. So don't get mad at me here, guys. I'm still learning this. I'm just sharing information with you. They bring behind them a dusting sampling technician. So as soon as they're done cleaning the house, and as soon as they're done replacing windows and like doing the abatement, they bring in the dust sampling technician and they test all the surfaces. And they test the soil. And then if you pass, you're good. That's it, which usually these guys are trained and they're very good at it and they pass. The challenge is it costs a fortune. I've spent anywhere from $7,000 to $15,000 to do just one house. And then about 3 years ago, I had a double. I'm going to tell you a story actually right now. Here, let's go into a story. I had a house that I bought with a business partner when I was doing partners in February of 2002. It was a double, a 2-family, up and down on Elmira off West Boulevard. We bought this home. We paid $90,000 for it. We put 10% down. We borrowed $81,000 on a 30-year mortgage at 7.5%. That was good, right? I mean, that was good in February of 2002. So bought this house. We owned it for 15 years to the day. 15 years to the day. We didn't make any money on it though. The rents were like $550 a unit, $1,100 a month. You had a water bill. You had a big mortgage. The cash flow on paper was maybe $200 a month. And obviously that gets sucked up really quick because you know you're going to have a turnover. You know you're going to have a furnace or hot water tank or something's going to happen. You're going to lose that $200 a month. And we did. Hell, a lot of times we put money into it. So anyways, they own this home 15 years to the day. And, this is why I hate 30-year mortgages. I will never do a prison sentence 30-year mortgage as long as I live again because of this story. After 15 years to the day, we had an outstanding principal balance of $67,000 when we sold that property. That sucks, man. That principal barely moved. Like, just don't ever do that, all right? Don't ever do a 30-year mortgage. I don't care if it's your primary residence or if it's a rental. I just don't like them, and you guys are going to argue with me about the cash flow play and the tax play. And that's fine. If you're in it for that, then fine. Taxes, all that jazz, great. I was in it for cash flow and it didn't work. So anyways, back to at hand. I got cited on that house for lead. Now think about that. An up and down double in Cleveland. You know how big this house was? Each unit was 1,050 square feet. 2-bedroom, living room, dining room. They're big units. And the house was built in like 1920. Like, holy cow, dude. That risk assessor came in and destroyed this thing. He wanted all new windows. There's like 40 some windows in this house. It needed a roof. The outside it was all wood that was chipping. So to have a lead abatement contractor do the painting was like triple what it would cost to get the outside painted. So you had to it was cheaper to vinyl side it. So you're talking about vinyl side in a huge house like that. You're talking 15 G's. The door sills, they found lead paint everywhere. The cinder block walls in the basement had lead paint on them. Like, it was a nightmare. I got a couple quotes. It was like 40 G's to get this right on a house worth. This was about 4 years ago now, on a house probably worth 40 on a good day, owing 67. And then I'm going to spend 40 grand doing a reno. Hell no. Just to have a piece of garbage in the end anyways. I mean, really, right? Because it needed so much more than that. It needed cabinets, it needed furnaces, it needed hot water tanks, it needed electrical boxes. It just needed stuff. And I had to put it into other things. So I tapped out, man. I was done. Tap out. I sold the house for 20 grand and my partner and I had to split about a $50,000 loss with closing costs and tax credits and all that. So we actually wrote a $25,000 check to sell the damn thing each. It sucked because of lead. It's changing the game. I was the motivated seller. I sold it to a real estate investor. He knew what he was getting into. It was full disclosure. He wanted to do it. It was a good deal at 20 grand. Not for me at 67. There's going to be crazy good buying opportunities because of the lead thing. All right. So here we are. Let's update a little bit. City of Cleveland, their coalition, they're coming now. They're coming at a vengeance. They're like, this is what they're saying. Every home in the city of Cleveland that's a rental property has to have a lead clearance test by March 31st of 2021. And if you're a landlord in Cleveland, you probably got the postcard. I literally came to my office last week and I was having like 25 postcards a day arrive because they send one for every property. I like have a stack of these things on my desk. And in order to have a rental property in Cleveland, it has to be done by March 31st. Now, a couple things with this. A lot of things with this, actually. So how you can get all these done, how are we going to do this, and do it without going into bankruptcy? Well, I went and they're recommending landlords, property managers, and owners, they're recommending they go get RRP certified, which I just went yesterday to this class. It is, I don't know what RRP stands for. Repair. It says it on the paperwork. I don't have it written down, guys. I'm sorry. There it is. Renovation, repair, and painting, RRP certified. So I went to a class yesterday all day and I got RRP certified. What that means is that I can go in there and I can do an assessment with this fancy stuff to see if my home contains lead paint. And then it allows me to do the renovation with my team. My team does not have to be licensed, just me. I'm allowed to be licensed. I have to be licensed. And then under my expert tutelage, I'm going to show them how to do the renovation. And, you know, basically we're going to scrape and repaint and then retest. Now, here's the part I don't know that they didn't even know at the class. The question is, after we do the repair, the renovation, can I retest or do I have to get a dust sampling technician to come in and do it? I believe that I have to get a dust sampling technician to do it. That I don't know the answer to. So if one of you cats do know, email me. But by the time you hear this episode, I'll probably have the answer anyways. But email me anyways. That's what's going on here. It's serious. I guess there are a couple ways to look at it. This is crazy. This is great for people to be healthy. But here's what's not fair about it. Like, I'm all about not having a house with lead paint. Don't get me wrong. But if the house next door is owner occupied, they do not have to have the house have a lead clearance test for the house. So if it's an owner occupied home, no lead clearance is required. So me as a landlord, I have to have my house clear, but if there's a 6-year-old child next door, they're okay. Oh, don't count for them. Just counts for Uncle Joe over here. Uncle Joe's got to be the one to make sure it's clear. I'm hearing some crazy stories. Like, I'm hearing some landlords out there are actually, if they have a long-term tenant, like a 5, 6, 7-year tenant they have a good relationship with, and they're getting cited for lead paint, or if they know this is coming down, they're actually selling the homes to the tenants and then putting a first lien position mortgage and note against it, and it bypasses all that. Now, all of a sudden, it does not have to have a lead clearance test because they own the home. And this can get really expensive. I mean, not all landlords are just, rolling in the dough, man. It's good times. Not everybody's rolling like that, where you have 10 houses and it costs you 15 G's a house to get a lead clearance. $150,000 cash is a lot of money to get through lead clearance, especially when you're not really doing a whole lot of CapEx items. It's more just, whatever stuff to get through lead clearance. When you really want to do roofs and you want to do furnaces and you want to do hot water tanks and kitchens and baths, it's none of that. That's not lead. The lead's around the windows, the outside of the property, and the soil. I had a house over on 89th Street that I had to have a bobcat come in, and I had to scrape off 4 inches with the bobcat of the front and backyard and resoil it. That happened in like 2013 or something. I remember that. It's expensive to even get a bobcat for the day. I had to have my guys go get it and drag that thing over there. And, it's for real. So that's what's going on. It's going to create some really good buying opportunities. If you can get the lists, which I'm going to probably have my acquisitions manager go chase that list and see who's been cited for lead paint, they probably want to sell, guys. Going to be a good opportunity there. You can get that data somehow. Probably have to come up here and knock on doors in the city of Cleveland, like, downtown, the courthouse and all that. But you can find that list with a little bit of work. And if you start buying houses like that, thank your Uncle Joe and freaking call me with them. I want to buy. That's all I know. So I went and got this certification. You should probably get it too. And at least you'll learn more about it. It's for real. It's not going away. I can tell you that. It's legit. You'll get your cards. I got mine last week. Your cards are coming if you got a property there. Here. So I'll tell you too. So if you don't have a lead clearance test, you can't get a rental registration. And the rental registration is how they know of you, because if it has a different tax mailing address, it already signifies it's a rental property. So if you have rental property here, I'm sure you have a rental registration, because you can't do an eviction without a rental registration. So they got you. So if you think you're going to turn a blind eye to this, you're not, because when you go to do an eviction, you have to have a rental registration. Well, they're not going to renew your rental registration, so you're not going to be able to do an eviction. So you have to do it. You're going to have to do this stuff. But you'll have a great property that's lead clear. It's got a lead clearance. And your money, baby. All right, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a great day.
This is the podcastfactory.com.